Thank you very much for having us here. My name is Amina Wamara. I am the Director of Capital Projects at the Regional Transportation Commission. And stay there. Perfect. We got invited by Patricia and Barry and Commissioner De Silva. Thank you for the invitation. We're honored to be here. We have a team with us. We partner with the construction of the Highway 1 corridor, the first phase and the second phase with Caltrans, and we have representatives. We have Fernando, he's the RE for the segment from Bayport all the way to State Park, which is currently at 60% construction, and he's gonna, along with Riza, the assistant, gonna give you the presentation for construction update, including the first section. We also have our designer, Mark Thomas. Zach Sevilla is the president of Mark Thomas, who've been with the RTC for the last 10 years, starting from the environmental document through design and also design services during construction. And they're gonna be with us for the third phase of this project, which takes it from State Park all the way to Freedom Boulevard. Again, same thing, the auxiliary lanes and bus and shoulder, as well as a couple of pedestrian overcrossings. So Zach will also follow up with this presentation and another presentation on the next project. And then we open it for your questions. I also have with me Joel Lacanina. He's our new senior engineer who just joined us about a month ago. So we're at your service, and we could probably start with Fernando's presentation. All right?
All right. Thank you very much, and we're honored to be here and provide you an update on the project. My name is Fernando Santos, like he mentioned, and I'm the resident engineer the last 2 years of the project. I came to Santa Cruz just specifically for this project, and I have enjoyed every moment of being in this area and learned to love it, right? It's a pretty unique area, expensive area. Having a blast on the project and looking forward to completing the phase 2 project early next year, and then moving into the next big project that is coming up, right, which is phase 3, the way he mentioned it, right? So this presentation has been put together to give you an overview of the phase 1 status and then the current project that is going on. It was prepared by the project manager, Marilyn Jacobson, in San Luis Obispo. So we can start, if we can, the next slide. Oh, come on now. It worked forward. What's that one? Yeah, you got it. Wait, here.
No injuries. Help, tech support. Tech support.
Earlier, I mean, it worked. Even though a few jokes went away.
Did sing a dance or?
Yeah, maybe a little tap dance there.
All I know is Jimmy Panetta's jokes.
Oh, got a million.
Obviously, this isn't easy.
Okay, that was good. Sure. Okay. Good. There. We're back. Yeah. Thank you.
Do we still have all our Zoom
You gotta
people?
give me a card, but I can tell you.
We didn't lose the Zoom.
All right, we're good. Ready? In the background. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the construction progress from 41st to Sacuel. Completed work is scheduled to be April 26. They're in the last stages of doing the structuring, rumble strip installation on a certain areas of the project. All the median concrete barrier work and pavement widening is all done. The retaining walls are all completed. Highway electrical work is all done. So all these items are kind of done. You have seen a Chanticleer cul-de-sac widening. That's finished and is open to the public. Permanent sign installation is done. Soquel pavement work is all completed too. So we're almost at the last stages. The only thing remaining, I guess, is a little bit of landscaping that they're doing on the side, on the Soquel side of southbound direction. They had to put an additional guardrail in there to protect one of the columns of the new Chanticleer pedestrian bridge. So that is the remaining work and punch list work. So this one is almost ready to be closed very soon. We can go into the next one. So this is just showing how it used to be before, right before the Chanticleer bridge was built. You can see right now the difference, right? There's next. This is also an overview of the change, right? And it's kind of demonstrating to you the red colors is where the bus and shoulder facilities will be used, right? Which is the highlight of this project is something that has never been used anywhere else. So this is a pilot program that is being implemented in the county, right? So RTC was very, very active in pursuing and following this type of system that we're gonna be implementing and seeing how it works, and then eventually, if it is something that it makes sense, expanding it for all the communities, right? Yeah, in the future. Remaining construction is just final punch list and change order work, so it's almost there. They're showing summer 2026. So you're not gonna see much work. I think a lot of the carrier and the temporary striking that they did at the Subwell on-ramp will be removed this week, I think. So you're gonna gain that auxiliary lane back again.
Gonna sneak out on you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Bye.
Bye.
See you at the next one.
Okay, now we're moving into this phase 2 project, which is mine. This is from Bay Avenue, Porter Street to State Park. Progress today include completion of the foundation and post-work for the Mar Vista pedestrian overcrossing. So you can see the bridge already is starting to rise, right? It's pretty visual right now. New Capitola Bridge overcrossing is 100% completed. We opened it to traffic, so it was a big milestone for the project, and all the residents were really happy to gain it back with the additional safety features that we included, which added a bicycle lanes on both directions and sidewalk. So that was a big success. And substantial completion of concrete median burial. So we pretty much about 80% of all the median work is done. The only remaining portion of work is going to be around the Mar Vista POC bridge. Because we have the forkwork right now, and that doesn't allow us to do a lot of that work in the median. So we have to complete the bridge, remove the forcework, and then we're gonna concentrate in the median. Completion of retaining walls is pretty much done. There were 2 retaining walls at Bay Avenue and Porter that we were supposed to be building, but that meant closing those ramps for a long duration, and it was going to impact the residents and the businesses in the area. So Mark Thomas helped us out with redesigning and eliminating those retaining walls so that we shorten the duration of what the work that we need to do in there to incorporate the bus and shoulder facilities. So we went from 6 months to probably 4 months or even less. Yeah. Right. So that was a big gain for the project, time-wise and also cost associated with the deletion, right? Plan walls are all done on the projects. Whatever you see is already done. The only portion is in between the, you can see some of the state back off ramp and then moving towards Santa Cruz. The section that is missing is because of the false work again of the Mar Vista. You see, once we finish and remove it, we're gonna close the gap. So sidewalls still gonna be all the way, right? No gaps in between. So that one is scheduled to be done sometimes late this fall, the sidewalk completion. As well as the Mar Vista POC is scheduled that by October it should be completed. This is just showing photos during the construction of the Capitola Bridge, and this is pretty much how it looks now. At this stage, we were still working. Once we removed the false work, we were able to do all the median work. Now we have a solid connection of concrete barrels right now. And that allows us to move now. We're in the process of moving traffic toward the median, so it allows us to do a lot of the widening on the remaining portion of the work much sooner. That work was scheduled to start this fall. So we run a construction, we look at always trying to see how we can accelerate the schedule and complete the work much sooner. So we're gonna be doing about 80% of what we're supposed to start this fall. We're gonna start it right now. So we're gonna gain the good weather of summer to complete all that work. And then the only remaining portion of work is gonna be right around the Mar Vista piece. Next one. This is just showing the progress, right, of the foundation work, columns, and then right now the post work is up and running. And we are starting to do some of the preliminary work, and we had the first frame 3, I think. Reza?
Yes.
Frame 3, right?
Yes.
Frame 3, 4. So we'll be starting next Monday.
It's happening faster.
It's really fast. Really fast. Yeah. This is just showing some of the samples that we did already. And obviously we're fighting the graffiti artists. Right?
Oh, no. Oh. Oh.
I thought that was graffiti repellent already.
No, we don't have any. The problem with that application is that unless you keep reapplying it, you wear out, right? So then it becomes a problem, right? And then during construction, we have the availability of doing a lot of stuff, but once it goes into maintenance, they have limited resources. They have, so it becomes a problem for them. So construction look ahead, major remaining work, completion of Mar Vista pedestrian and bicycle overcrossing, widening of the shoulder for the Bosman shoulder and auxiliary lanes. That's what we're going to be gaining a lot of ground by advancing the stages, and we're going to start right now doing all that outside widening. And that is for the Bosman shoulder, including the combination of the stages, right, that she's mentioning over here. Vapor ramp changes, like I mentioned before, that's going to allow us to close those ramps shorter durations, and we can do the work faster and give back to the residents of the businesses. And we always trying to stage it in a way that we don't close two at the same time, right? So that's a continuous communication we're having with the contractor to time it in a way that we minimize any impact to the community. So far, we've been doing that, and that's our goal, right? It's not just closing and doing our work. We always sometimes spending more money to make sure that we do it in a way that benefit the residents versus just closing it and we don't care, right? Yes. We want to make sure that we always keep you guys in mind and make the residents support the project and be happy with the product that we are doing. We have design structure installation that's taking place fairly soon too. You're gonna see a lot of the new overhead structures coming up. Then landscaping and plant establishing is something that is already lining up. A lot of the irrigation needs to happen throughout the project before we can start that, but it's already on the works. And then the project close out and punch list activities, we're hoping that is by next April. Just to give you a little bit of history, we had the Mar Vista project. A lot of people don't realize that we had to do a lot of work because we had a conflict with an existing utility. So the whole bridge had to be moved over. So Mark Thomas, they were the main players in redesigning it. And now it's coming up in the air and it's going really good. Yeah. So we're happy to be able to give you a good product, and glad to be here and provide you an update. And anytime that you have a question on an update, feel free to contact Amin or myself, and we can give you any information that you guys want.
Just a quick question. Do you know what the artwork is going to be or the name on the Mar Vista bridge?
It's Altos with, I guess the theme is pine trees.
So it's called, yeah, Misty Mountains, right? So when we went through the whole
I remember that.
aesthetic design process, there were several themes that were developed. And the one that the community wanted was what we called the Misty Redwoods at that time.
I love it. Good.
When the construction was completed from Soquel to 41st, I was a little disappointed. There's still 2 lanes. One whole lane was taken up for buses. Is that any quicker? Wasn't the whole idea to give us 3 lanes?
No, so I can answer that. Unfortunately, the project doesn't have additional lanes on the freeway.
Yeah.
So the state of California right now, just as a general kind of policy, is not adding freeway lanes. But what we're doing is adding lanes that connect the on-ramps and the off-ramps. A lot of the congestion occurs because one of the comments I saw leading up to this meeting is about the short on-ramps that you all have in Santa Cruz, right? The freeway was built in the 1950s, and the on-ramps at that time were significantly shorter. Like a new on-ramp today has about 3 times the acceleration length as it did in the 1950s. So we're adding these lanes to provide more space for people to merge on and off the freeway, and that eliminates some of the congestion. But the state of California, unfortunately, right now is not funding capacity increasing projects on the state highway system.
So on that same thing, though, the idea of the dedicated bus lanes, 2 questions. Is the overall plan, all that kind of thing, designed to make more riders get on and take metro and various transportation things more than they are now? And then how do they get from the dedicated lane to where they stop off, and where do they get to the during the streets and stuff? I'm not familiar with that.
I think what we could do is if we go to the next presentation, it kind of ties into some of these questions. And so, Fernando, maybe we do the next presentation and come back for construction questions.
Yeah, for all those.
Yeah.
Okay. One place another.
Reza, you can't leave. You're hired.
Well, hang on, I did have here, so I
Right there.
PG construction.
This, no, go. It's the one in, second one in.
That's the one, right?
That was the one we just did.
We just did that.
Yeah.
So do another one? Yeah, this comes.
Are we in the right spot?
Not in the right spot.
This
So
one,
you
oh, man.
share.
There, oh, we have some instructions
And
here.
right here, this
There.
one.
That one.
There you go. Okay.
All right.
So if you go up to the, where?
Beginning?
No.
Oh, sorry. Is that what shooting for?
I'm going right into it.
That's the wrong. Okay.
Obviously, it's harder than it looks.
And
We should all sing a quick song, shall we?
auxiliary lanes.
Oh, so what's going on here? I got it. Here we go.
Good.
Here we go. Stop sharing. Nope, we're good. Where's the?
Okay, I know the, I don't know,
Nope, it's not stop
the
sharing.
resolution made everything so tiny here.
Where's the? Yeah. This how you close?
There was a red button. Red button.
Let's just minimize it.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
And then we'll make this. There.
I really.
Just leave like this.
I can, might work with the control F. I got this. Do it.
No, that's what I was commanded.
Okay. It is Greg. Well, actually, no, no. Yeah, I can Greg.
There we go. Okay,
All right, meet you both.
and so now here,
And we'll wait.
there you go.
Okay.
All right, we got it. Again, it always comes down to technical report.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so glad to be back with you. I see a lot of familiar faces. Like Amin mentioned, I've been working with this community now for almost the past 10 years on this project. So
Oh, my God.
all segments. So to see the two that are getting through construction and then wrapping up the final designs on this last segment, it's good to see the implementation of this project. If we can go to the next slide. So again, just quick overview. Phase one is what Fernando was saying is nearly complete, just wrapping up punch list. Phase two, that's the State Park to Bay Porter segment. That's 60% complete. And then I'm gonna give an update on phase three, which is about 2 miles from State Park down to Freedom Boulevard. And then as part of this, the other aspect of this project is we're also constructing segment 12 of the Coastal Rail Trail as a component of this project. Next slide. So now just to confuse everybody, we flipped you around. That other slide was pointing a different direction. So now, in this case, north's up, you know, the ocean is down here. Here's State Park Drive. So it's picking up from where the segment 2 project ends. And then it's constructing those auxiliary lanes between the interchanges. So like you see between SoCal and 41st Street, there's a lane that connects the off-ramp to the on-ramp. And that's again to help with merging on and off the freeway. So it allows for some congestion relief, but again, the state of California right now is not funding new lanes on the state highway system. So there's a lot to this project. So we're gonna be widening the bridge that goes over Spreckles Drive as part of the project. There's some work where we're gonna be relocating the roadway for Moosehead Drive. So I know I've met with a number of folks about the relocation of that road. There's various sound walls that are gonna be constructed with this. And then if we look at segment 12, if anyone's curious what that is of this coastal rail trail, it picks up from the end of segment 11, which is right at State Park Drive. It runs along the rail line. There will be a new pedestrian overcrossing over the freeway. It goes down through Aptos Village. It crosses over the freeway again, and then comes down and ultimately terminates just on Sumner Avenue, just south of Rio Del Mar. So it's about 1.2 miles of that segment. Now, I'll show you some renderings because this is a very complex segment to build. All of this, as you've seen in the other freeway projects, it's a very constrained corridor. So we're moving lanes around. We're trying to get a lot done while still keeping 2 lanes open at all time. Next slide. So that last picture ended right around here. So we're picking up, this shows the continuation of the project from Rio Del Mar down to Freedom Boulevard. The question that was asked about where do the bus lanes come in? The bus on shoulder lanes are shown in red. And what they do is they connect the end of the auxiliary lane where the lane would exit to go onto the local frontage road. The red allows the bus to drive through the shoulder through that interchange. And then on the other side of the interchange, it then enters back into the auxiliary lane to continue up to the next segment. So we're working currently with Metro to go through all the details for how their operators would use this. So there's still details that we're working through, but again, a lot of good discussion with Metro.
Good question.
Sure.
I'm thinking of Park Avenue in Cabrillo.
Yep.
Is that gonna be one of the places where the buses are gonna be able to drop off students coming and going?
Absolutely. So this allows any bus can exit the freeway at any location. So just like any car can. So if they need to get off at a certain point to service a route, they can do that. Or if there's going to be an express route for whatever reason that just continues through, those routes are the ones that would use the bus on shoulder facility. And the whole concept around it is you give that space for buses in peak congestion periods where they can drive in the shoulder, and it bypasses some of the congestion on the freeway. Ultimately, it results in travel time savings for the bus to encourage more people to use transit along this corridor. Next slide. Okay, I don't know if anyone likes cross sections, but engineers, we like to show cross sections. So this just shows, again, where we're adding an auxiliary lane, for example. The 2 lanes that are there along the freeway are going to stay where they are. And then in some locations, we're adding the auxiliary lane on the outside of the freeway. There are some locations where we're keeping the existing outside of the freeway, and then we're shifting all the lanes into the median. And that approach of moving lanes inside was to preserve thousands of trees along this corridor. So when we first started working on the design, one of the things that's, just beautiful about the corridor is all the trees that line the freeway. So we tried to preserve as many of those trees as possible. So we worked with Caltrans to shift the freeway inside and keep as many of those trees as possible. Next slide. This showing cross sections of segment 12 of the Coastal Rail Trail. I won't go through these in detail, but if you imagine where that rail line is today, the rail trail gets constructed on the inland side of that. So imagine if you're going along SoCal Drive and the rail is just there on the north side of SoCal Drive, the trail is going to be on the other side of that. So just on the north side of the existing rail line. Next slide. So cross sections are one way to show it. Renderings are another way. So imagine this is at Rio Del Mar looking north now. So this is what the freeway looks like today with just 2 lanes in each direction. And if you go to the next slide, it shows the addition of that 3rd lane. Now, in between those interchanges, it will be a 3rd lane, but those lanes terminate at the adjacent interchange. So again, a lot of work was done. We do what are called design exceptions, where we try to take reasonable design exceptions to preserve these trees. So normally this inside median, the shoulder there would be 10 feet wide. But because the way the freeway curves, we're allowed to get away with only a 2-foot inside shoulder. And that allows us to preserve the trees along the corridor. Next slide.
Is it turning into an exit-only lane, is what you're saying?
Yes, the outside lane.
Now?
Exactly. The outside lane will then exit at State Park Drive in that rendering. So now this is at, we're looking northbound now from Freedom Boulevard, looking north. Again, this is what it looks like today. And if you go to the next slide, you can see this is where the bus would operate on the shoulder in between the interchanges. And then it'll merge over into the auxiliary lane. If you go back one slide, so you can see this is the median that's currently out there today. And rather than what we would normally do is just put a new lane on the outside, you go back, you can see how we've shifted the whole freeway in to preserve that corridor.
I like that.
Next slide. So this is just a graphical representation of how the bus on shoulder facility works. And when Fernando mentioned that this is unique for Santa Cruz County is the only county in the state of California that has legislative approval to do this. So it is being looked at as a project, a test project for the entire state of California. So in between the interchanges, the bus would just operate in the auxiliary lane, and then it continues through the interchange on the shoulder before it merges back into the auxiliary lane on the other side of the interchange.
Yep.
So that was the highway improvements. This is now going to cover segment 12 of the Coastal Rail Trail. So there are 5 structures for this section. This 1.12 mile section of trail. There are 5 bridges that need to be constructed for this.
We're the bridgiest.
It's going to be pretty impressive. If you go to the next slide, when someone mentioned some of the art that gets implemented on the bridges that go over the freeway. So this was one of the concepts that was reviewed for this segment of the corridor. So those bridges that are going to be crossing over the freeway, this is a representation of what that art would look like on those bridges. So as we've marched our way through the corridor, every community's had the opportunity to weigh in on the embedded concepts, and those have been used to ultimately move forward into the final design. So the Capitola Bridge that we just saw a picture of, Capitola residents got to pick that. The Chanticleer pedestrian overcrossing with the whales, that community got to pick that one. When we did the outreach for this was a couple of years ago, this was around the theme that the community members here wanted to see for these bridges. Next slide.
Answer. Right.
Oh, you go back. Okay.
There.
So this is SoCal Drive right here. That's Freckles Drive, if you can imagine where this is. And there's the rail bridge that crosses over. This is Aptos Creek. So initially we were looking at a bridge that had multiple spans. The problem is there's a high pressure gas line right here that to move that high pressure gas line was about $8 million.
Wow.
And so we started looking at, okay, we're going to spend $8 million to move a gas line. What else could we do? And we came up with a signature structure. So this is what ultimately we're moving forward with this bridge. From this perspective, it's hard to see how long it is. This is 300 feet long.
Yeah. Wow.
So it's going to be a very impressive bridge when it's
You're
constructed.
working under the bridge right now. There's gas line up under that bridge.
Yeah, there is. I saw that. I think PG&E or somebody's doing some maintenance underneath there. I don't know what's going on. I drove by and saw that, but it's right here.
Yes.
Yeah, we should ask this about it.
It is PG&E.
Can we have a signature color?
So this is the color that it was picked.
Brown?
So it's
The
called
Golden Gate.
Corten steel.
Corten is a rust steel that rusts.
Look like Golden Gate Bridge, right?
Protective coating.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the idea is that it helps blend it into the scenery behind it, as opposed to like a stainless steel
I
or
like it.
Or
galvanized steel.
It's me.
It's public, right above where you're standing.
Right here, yeah. The parish public house is right here.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So when is that supposed to be completed?
I'll get into that.
No.
Next slide.
Like soon? No.
Little tax.
So as we go around, so we just passed through Aptos Village. Aptos Street Barbecue is like right back here. This is the pedestrian bridge that's going to cross over Valencia Creek. So this span is a little bit less. We have the ability to go with multiple spans here. There's no gas line in the way. So this is what that bridge will look like crossing over Valencia Creek. And
Is the ocean to our left and the inland?
imagine the ocean down here. It's off the.
Oh, okay, all right, got it back.
So this is Aptos Street.
Yeah.
Is right here. And then SoCal Drive passes right underneath here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
This is, the mural is on the wall right here.
So we get,
Next slide. And then what this shows is along SoCal Drive, like I mentioned, the existing rail line is going to stay where it is. And then the trail is going to be constructed on the inland side of that. So all of the improvements where the rail line is going to stay. And then there's a 8.5 foot separation that's required by California Public Utility Commission. So we have to have 8.5 feet from the edge of the rail to the trail, and that's the narrowest it can be.
So if I'm riding my bike in that direction, you get to the spot where you get down to the Treasure Island intersection with the traffic
Yeah.
light, and it's a dangerous little spot for bicycles. What happens with this if I'm riding my bike in that direction?
Yeah, so there's enhanced crosswalks. So what we're trying to do is, we're actually working with the CPUC right now and the county on the crossing details for this. So there would be notification and potentially new lighting.
But farther down, when I'm going in that direction, what
Yeah.
happens when I get down by the bridge?
You go over it.
Yeah, ultimately,
do you mean it's Freckles?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Freckles and SoCal.
yeah, if you go back
Yeah.
2 slides, this is where you are. So you come up along the rail line, so you're not riding along SoCal Drive. You're riding along the rail line and you're crossing over Spreckles.
You're above it.
I got you.
This will then continue down over the freeway and then ultimately connect with State Park Drive.
Thanks.
I think I only had one last slide. Oh, that was it.
Good job.
Wow.
I live on Aptos Beach right over here.
Okay.
About a month ago, maybe a little less, it was on a Saturday, they had closed one lane of the road, and so all the traffic from everywhere south of me going north went down Aptos Beach Drive and bumper to bumper, and you know, people were stopped for 3 or 4 minutes at a time and found that line. Are we gonna experience the same thing with the, work on the bridges, all around there?
So if you go back to that overview map showing, the whole area, probably
or no more?
go back.
They get off on.
Like, right, this is probably a good one. So because Soquel Drive just parallels the freeway in this location, when we're planning all of our detour routes for any type of ramp closures, Soquel Drive is the route that'll be identified for that. So if there's a need to close, like this ramp right here, the State Park southbound on-ramp, the detour will take them up to Soquel Drive and then down through, and then ultimately back on at Rio Del Mar.
A lot of people don't pay attention to that. They come down Rio Del Mar Boulevard.
Yeah.
Through Outlaw Beach Drive, and then back up.
Going further, it's going.
Got it.
Yeah.
North.
Yeah, and then one down side's shut down, we get off Rio Del Mar.
Got it.
And that's been a problem for last 10 years,
Got it.
every morning. And every,
What are you gonna do about that?
I'll just.
Well, yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Same thing on Sumner. People can't even back out if they're on driveway.
Yeah.
I get so many complaints about that. And so
Exactly.
I feel like we need to have like a class action lawsuit against Waze for.
It's the work done.
Yeah, because it's just.
Look what they're doing. It's only ways.
How does that all tie in with the part 3 project? Like you have the pedestrian bridge there and that's a dead end with no outlet. And they're talking about building another 500 units and all this. Like there's no infrastructure for all these cars and stuff on Soquel Drive and it's 2 lanes, one way, 2 lanes the other way. And in Aptos Park area, like, you know, that's 1 lane each.
Yeah.
How is that? It seems like the state of California is not allowing the widening of the highways, but they're packing everyone in on top of each other with nowhere to go. Like if you're on Soquel, especially going south, you're sitting there for days. It's like the road's always closed when you're sitting there so long.
And I'm not familiar with the housing project you mentioned. Where is that located?
It's the Harvester Drive. It's right.
You're overcrossing.
Yeah.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That vacant, public.
That big lot.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
So do you know who you talked to about and get the information about the part 3? No, I know that you're with Caltrans, correct?
So I'm representing the Regional Transportation Commission,
Okay.
so I was hired by RTC.
Okay.
And then Caltrans is a partner to us, but RTC is leading the design.
Supervisor. Just go.
Now, the idea, from a transportation standpoint, like I understand there's a desire not to continuously widen freeways out. Like, we don't want this to look like Los Angeles,
Yeah.
right? But you need to have enough capacity to keep the right movement on the right facility. What we don't want to have is the freeway so congested that the only option for people is to follow their ways, jump off and go through local streets.
That's
So
what happens.
the idea with this project is trying to keep as much of those cars on the freeway, but in order to do that, you have to relieve some congestion. And that's what the auxiliary lanes allow us to do while still working within the policies that we have from the state.
It seems to be working north of here pretty well.
Yeah.
You don't see the congestion that you used to see every morning.
Yeah.
Because it is moving, because people are using the auxiliary lane where they can.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked you, it's an exit only lane. And so people are smart enough to know if they're gonna get off Soquel, they can use the auxiliary lane.
Yeah.
And they can go faster and keep going.
Yeah.
And that allows people to go, that are going past there, and all those 2 lanes, to continue.
Exactly.
It seemed to work.